During the Crusades, Christian kingdoms from across Europe marched east to defend pilgrims and reclaim the holy city of Jerusalem. Knights, kings, and ordinary people fought to preserve their faith and protect the holy cities surrounded by powerful enemies. Among these monarchs, one king would become legend. When you think of King Baldwin IV, you imagine the mask, the legend famously portrayed in the film Kingdom of Heaven. The legendary king is seen countless times on social media. However, Baldwin was not just an aesthetic icon, he was a real man, who was crowned king at 16, a dying leper, and defended Jerusalem from the powerful general Saladin. In this video, I'm going to explain the real story of the Leper King and his legacy throughout the world. By the late 12th century, the Crusader states had become completely surrounded by Muslim rule. In the past decades of war, Muslim forces had regrouped and now stood united. After the Crusaders retook Jerusalem in 1099 AD, the states were fragile, low on manpower from distant Europe, and under constant attack from Muslim forces. Jerusalem, the heart of the Crusader states, needed a strong ruler with capable leadership so the city could stand. When Almaric I of Jerusalem died in 1174, his young son, Baldwin IV, aged 13, took up the throne. But something about the boy was deeply troubling. William of Tyre, a Catholic prelate who mentored Baldwin, noticed he didn't feel any pain while playing, an early sign of leprosy. In medieval Europe, leprosy was seen as incurable, and its victims lived a short, painful life. Despite myth, Baldwin IV didn't wear a mask. It's likely he wore a regular royal attire, with bandages covering his lesions. Now, a boy struggling with a painful disease inherited one of the most dangerous thrones in the known world. Also, the Crusader Christian allies of Jerusalem, the Byzantine Empire, suffered a major defeat in 1176, leaving Baldwin IV isolated in Jerusalem. Yet despite the odds stacked against him, Baldwin IV proved he was capable by showing determination even though he didn't have long to live. The major threat to the new king was the Sultan Saladin. Saladin accomplished what Muslims had failed to do for centuries: political and military unity. Saladin wielded both the crowns of Egypt and of Syria and planned a large-scale invasion of Jerusalem. In 1177, Saladin entered the Holy Land with a large, ferocious fighting force, expecting the Holy Land to be undefended. To Saladin's surprise, the Crusader army would not give up that easily. Baldwin rallied a small force of knights and infantry to repel the invasion. Although heavily outnumbered, Baldwin's army launched an attack relying on surprise and speed. The conflict ended in a total defeat of Saladin's army, with the Sultan barely escaping with his own life. Keep in mind, Baldwin outmaneuvered and decisively destroyed the most powerful sultan in the East at only 16 years old. This decisive victory would later be known as the Battle of Montexard, and would transform Baldwin's reputation from a fragile boy king to a heroic ruler loved by his people. Throughout Baldwin's early life, he repelled multiple of Saladin's invasions, leading each battle from the front. Due to his crippling leprosy, Baldwin only used one hand to ride his horse and one to hold the sword. By 1180, the situation had turned against the Crusaders. Baldwin's leprosy had severely worsened. He could no longer ride a horse and lead his army from the front. Baldwin also needed to secure the future of his throne, so he arranged his sister Sibylla to marry Guy de Lusignan, a prominent French noble. Noticing his severe leprosy, Baldwin named Guy the regent of Jerusalem, effectively making him the temporary ruler of the crown. Unfortunately, this appointment proved to be a blunder from the Leper King. Guy was a reckless leader who made poor decisions without even consulting Baldwin. Running out of options, Baldwin IV secured his throne by appointing his young nephew, Baldwin V, to be in charge. Sadly, after this, Baldwin IV passed, leaving his throne to his nephew. Shortly after, Baldwin V passed away, also subject to the deadly disease of leprosy. Guy then ascended to the throne, and noticing his weakness, in 1187, Saladin laid siege to the Holy City and took it within a few months, ending Christian rule in Jerusalem forever. Baldwin IV ruled Jerusalem for only a short period of time, suffering from a deadly illness as he sat on the throne. Yet despite his condition, he held together a fragile kingdom that was surrounded by powerful foes. And after his death, the kingdom collapsed. Within 2 years, Jerusalem itself was lost. The city would only return to Christian hands for a brief period during the Third Crusade. But Baldwin IV's legacy remains an amazing feat. A teenage king, suffering from a disease that was certain death, still led an army into battle, defeated Saladin multiple times, and defended the Holy Land till his last breath. That is why Baldwin is remembered not as a dying king, but as the hero he was. What do you think about Baldwin IV? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to my channel for more. As always, thank you for watching.